I'm not saying that the Bills are necessarily fake per se, but I think the Eagles right now are probably the best team in the NFC. There's a couple contenders there, San Francisco, Dallas, but the Eagles right now have shown they're them. They're still them. They're still the reigning champions in that conference, and they plan on defending their title come
the game is real or fake, so that means the Bills have to be fake because the Eagles are real. I'm sorry that the Bills are fake, but they got 3 straight games. They may lose them all. They could come out of this at 6-8 here in just a little bit. So give me the Eagles, who've actually won their first 2 hard tests. They're real. Jaguars and Texans, who's real, who's fake?
Give me the Texans, man. Give me the Texans. I think C.J. Stroud is a lock for Offensive Rookie of the Year, and not just Rookie of the Year. I think he's a legitimate MVP candidate. If he can get this Texans team that was trash juice last year and get this team to the playoffs, then yeah, he absolutely is worthy of that consideration. I don't know if he wins it, but he's absolutely worthy of consideration. Meanwhile, the Jags just a little bit. They're a little inconsistent. They got a nice record. I think they're 6-3, 7-3 right now, but they got hammered by Houston last time they played, and I think they're liable to do it again.
I got to cut you off. I'm not letting you just say trash juice. I was about to eat lunch, and now you got to throw in trash juice. I'm saying the Jaguars are real, by the way. I think they're going to be better at the end of the year. I think they win today, and I think they're actually the real team, although C.J. Stroud is real long term. So that has been real versus fake. Remember, when you go get a Christmas tree, get a real one. GetRealBeReal.com. Don't be getting all those fake Christmas trees. Get one that's real and sheds in your house and gives you that sense of pine that you want in your house. When it is now time to do a little fantasy stuff, listen, fantasy is getting right to where it matters. 888-SAY-ESPN. Liz Loza is back. She gives the best advice on fantasy of anyone. Liz Loza is real, and you can get her fantasy questions, 888-SAY-ESPN.com. And remember, real Christmas trees at Lowe's or wherever they're sold. For more info, GetRealKeepItReal.com.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman. Coming up Monday, I'll tell you the one team I think has absolutely no chance of making the playoffs. It's on Sportsmanlike Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. A jacuzzi bath system fits in your existing tub space. It's a no-mess installation with an amazing style selection, factory-certified installers, and a limited lifetime warranty. Call 800-717-4599. That's 800-717-4599 right now and get 50% off installations with no interest and no payments for 12 months. Replace that old bathtub today with a walk-in shower for a safer bathing experience. If you have lived in your home for over 15 years, it's time to remodel your bathroom. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-717-4599. That's 800-717-4599. 800-717-4599.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Built to win.
Touchdown, Alabama!
Built for championships.
Throws intercepted, Alabama.
Built by Bama.
Alabama is still Alabama.
The Crimson Tide play here. Roll Tide. As the Crimson Tide head to Atlanta to take on the Georgia Bulldogs for the SEC Championship on your home for Bama football.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. If you've been injured and need a lawyer right now, do you know who you really get?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. You want to talk to your lawyer. My clients talk to me.
And me. I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're the ones that you talk to.
And we're the ones who handle your personal injury case.
And we'll take care of it.
The Lackey Law Firm. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That you scheduled your wedding and even your child's birth around your school's game? Of course. But it means more than that. It means you're home to hundreds of Fulbright, Truman, Goldwater, and Rhodes Scholars. It means starting out as the birthplace of American public higher education, and now leading the way in unmanned spacecraft. This is the SEC, and here It just means more. What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That there's an honest-to-goodness chandelier in your tailgate tent? Perhaps. But it means more than that. It means pioneering medical solutions to predict new flu viruses. It means leading globally diverse teams to eliminate starvation in developing countries. And it means being home to one of the nation's top cybersecurity programs. This is the SEC. And here, it just means
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Ed Benkin. It's Week 12 of the NFL. 4 games have already been played on this holiday weekend. 11 more on tap for today. And among the 6 early games, battle between the Texans and the Jaguars to determine who will take the lead in the AFC South. Despite being one of the surprise teams this season, ESPN's Louis Riddick says Houston is capable of beating anyone.
But I definitely feel as though Houston right now, given that they've already beaten Jacksonville in Jacksonville, you know how powerful belief is. You just need to be your very best on that day when you're playing against any given team in the NFL.
Texans running back Dameon Pierce is active today as he returns from an ankle injury. In Atlanta, the Falcons host the Saints. Derek Carr will start for New Orleans. He is cleared concussion protocol. In the battle at the bottom of the NFL, the Patriots visit the Giants. New York wide receiver Darius Slayton is active despite being listed as doubtful during the week with a neck injury. Coming up on select ESPN radio outlets, the Bucs will visit the Colts. Tampa running back Rachaad White is active for the Buccaneers today. Also today on select ESPN radio outlets, the Broncos host the Browns. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, Raiders defensive end Max Crosby plans to play today against the Chiefs. Crosby's been out sick all week and is listed as doubtful. Schefter also reporting Justin Jefferson will not play against the Bears on Monday night as he continues to recover from a hamstring injury. In college football, Indiana has fired head coach Tom Allen after a 3-9 season. And according to ESPN's Pete Thamel, Houston is set to dismiss head coach Dana Holgorsen, who had 3 losing seasons in his 5 years at Houston.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to the Bama Recap Show, presented by Freedom Marine Center. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Drew DeArmond and Steve Moulton.
Alabama-Auburn. This is the 88th Iron Bowl.
Here now the give, back up the middle. Roydell runs up the pipe, and he is in for a touchdown. Here's Milrow, looks long, trying to find a man behind the defense. It's caught, and here goes Jermaine Burton all the way. Touchdown, Alabama. Fair catch being made, and it's loose. It's picked up by Alabama. It's down the near side, and they call the play dead. He throws into the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown, Alabama. The Crimson Tide throwing a Hail Mary into the corner of the end zone. Alabama defeats Auburn. Just remarkable.
Coming up next, the SEC Championship game, live from Atlanta, Georgia, on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. Roll Tide.
Wow. I mean, just wow. Welcome into the Bama Recap Show presented by Freedom Marine Center. Now is the time to winterize your boat. Head on over to Freedom Marine Center or check them out online at freedommarincenter.com. He's Drew DeArmond. Steve Moulton here with you on a Sunday morning. Phone lines open to you. Drew, let me start here. It felt like that game turned on a dime on a holding call in the first half, because Bama came out with a clear plan, and they dominated in the first quarter. Now, had a touchdown actually been scored, and it was 14-0, I personally think it would have been a dramatically different game.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, and I know that there was the kickoff return where there was a block in the back.
That's right.
Which should have been also a face mask, I guess.
Yep.
I mean, it should have been offsetting. Should have been offsetting. And, Hugh complained, Coach Freeze, and raised a lot of cane. And I think that's what really got the holding call, to be honest with you. I think because I think Jason Autry's crew is the worst in the Southeastern Conference. They continue to get big games, and they are terrible. I mean, these guys, it's like I called them, Mo, Larry, and Curly. I mean, you're talking about that second half, Burton's foot clearly in bounds. They blow it.
Looked like it was into me.
I mean, I guess Autry needs cataract surgery because he took about 5 minutes to make up his mind. And then, the three guys in motion, and they call Alabama for neutral zone because they shifted, drew them off sides, but there was three guys in motion. Should have been on Auburn. That was a penalty in my opinion. And again, I just felt like overall it was not a very well officiated game. I thought that there was a couple of personal fouls against Auburn that were not called.
Yeah.
Where they swallowed their whistles late. And then there was almost a brawl. And, I mean, probably should have been offsetting personal fouls on Alabama and Auburn after Alabama scored the touchdown. But they let it go on like a WWE fight and then just decided not to call anything. But I'll just say this. I didn't think they had control of the game, and I didn't think they were very good, quite frankly. But I do think, to go back to your point, I thought it was a great play call. I thought Reeves, once again, was locked in.
Yeah.
Alabama came out throwing haymakers because they knew they needed to take the crowd out of the game. And I do think the game would have been dramatically different because Auburn's not a comeback team. They got to run the ball. They don't trust their quarterback. They only had 5 completions. And I think that penalty – and Alabama not being able to score to go up to, and not punching it in and having to give it back to Auburn. Then Auburn, of course, scores to tie it. It's, it's 7.
That's right.
And so I just think it dramatically changed things. And again, it probably was a hold, but
it was. It was a hold.
But I just think overall, if that's not called, then I think Alabama ends up, winning this game probably resoundingly. I picked 37-17. I think they would have covered. But I'll just say this. I thought the better team won the football game, and I thought Alabama won because they were the mentally tougher team, because they played through the terrible officiating. I thought they showed a lot of toughness. And again, another snap, miscommunication with Milroe and McLaughlin. Whoever it's on, whether it's on Milroe or Seth, it's probably on Seth this time. Certainly Eric Wolford was giving him an earful even after they scored. But I got to give Alabama a ton of credit. Milroe made a lot of plays in the game. I thought he played with a lot of poise. And everybody calling it a Hail Mary, that was not a Hail Mary that he threw. It was a laser beam.
Yeah,
okay?
that was a grave digger, literally.
Yeah, it was a grave digger. So, I mean, everybody can take their Kick 6 DVDs and their memorabilia that were at the kiosk and everything and keep them, okay? That's great Christmas presents for all the Auburn fans, and I know they'll continue to celebrate it, and they should. It was a great moment in time, but this was Alabama's moment. And I just felt like it was a great throw. Great job by Bond continuing to move. And then, he was pretty well covered, but it was just the ball placement was outstanding.
It was Bond being Bond. I mean, he's been consistent.
Yeah.
And he knew the right route to cover, to run as well, and know how much room he needed. And that thing was a seed.
And, I mean, the pass protection was flawless. I mean, it was just,
But when you only rush 2, I mean, it's – I mean –
yeah.
So there is a little hindsight 2020 in that regard, but I do wonder whether or not Alabama's going to come out with a calendar next year that has an April 31st on it.
It may very well. I mean, but again, it's just one of those things. I thought Alabama showed a lot of resiliency. And, they got it done in the greatest rivalry in college football, second greatest, of course, being Ohio State and Michigan, and that game was a great game too. But
it was.
And they're different rivalries because one's in-state and one's two kind of bordering states. But still, I just thought Alabama, with all they had to overcome, and give Auburn credit. I knew they'd play hard. I knew it would not be a repeat of New Mexico State.
Definitely not.
And Alabama did shoot themselves in the foot. Honestly, I didn't think Auburn actually stopped them. I thought most of it was Alabama stopping themselves. Another key, too, Auburn had 3 turnovers. Alabama had none. Alabama didn't turn the ball over. Reichert did miss a field goal.
He did.
Which was surprising a little bit from a 42 yards.
Wide right.
But again, I thought Alabama in the second half, too, I thought there was adjustments made after watching it because, look, they got 3/4 of their rushing yards in the first half. They didn't do much in the second at all.
Yeah.
I mean, the one play where there was a screw-up defensively was a bust, where there was a miscommunication, and it looked like Kool-Aid McKinstry was supposed to take the guy, and he passed it off and take him, and he froze, and so they were able to get Javarius Johnson the football for a touchdown. But that was really – because when you look at Auburn, they threw for like 93 yards. That was that was a third of their passing yards on one play.
Yeah.
And Rivaldo Fairweather did nothing. He was a guy you were worried about. Javarius Johnson was basically the only one that made plays all night long. To his credit, as a senior, I mean, he stepped up in the Iron Bowl and did a great job. But I thought, overall, Jalen Milroe, I never thought he looked frazzled. I thought a couple times he was really smart when he threw the ball away, threw it out of bounds, saved the down.
Yeah.
I thought he played with a very high football IQ.
I did too.
And again, he just calmly threw a laser on 4th and 31, and Alabama wins the game, and now the Georgia game matters. Now, I know there's still people worried about the playoff because, predictably Florida gagged and couldn't hold the lead, but I didn't expect that. But again, I still say Ohio State's out. They're done. I don't care. I had people telling me, well, they're going to be ranked ahead of Alabama. It doesn't matter. If Alabama beats Georgia, they're going to jump right over them. Doesn't matter. Ohio State's finished. They don't play again. I do think Oregon will beat Washington, and then it's going to come down.
Well, even Texas is playing Oklahoma State in the Big 12 championship game.
Yeah.
A team that lost to South Alabama, got boat raced at home by South Alabama, and that would be Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
I don't know in terms of quality of a win, how quality of a win that would be for Texas.
I don't think it would be. And so we'll see. And then I still think Louisville's got more than a puncher's chance against Florida State, even though they lost to Kentucky. But I just think the ACC stinks. I think if Florida State was playing in the SEC, they'd have 4 losses. Just my opinion. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But
it's hard to argue.
Even with Travis healthy. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay? And
yeah.
I'm not talking about just because of the injury.
Yeah.
I just think the ACC is probably the weakest of the Power 5. I think it's complete weak sauce. And, but I just thought overall, Jalen Milroe, Isaiah Bond, the offensive line as a whole, I thought played really well. I know they gave up a sack, late in the game on that fourth and on the last drive, but still overall, I thought Milroe had plenty of time to throw. I liked Milroe's decision making. I thought he made good decisions. I know there were people saying he didn't run enough early, but I thought that he used his legs, especially in the second half. I mean, when you run for 107 yards, plus you throw for 260. I mean, he was the offensive MVP along with Isaiah Bond, no doubt about it. It does look like Alabama had one significant injury in the game. It's probably a high ankle sprain for Jace McClellan on the last drive.
Nice.
He was on crutches after the game, or foot injury or whatever. But luckily for Alabama, they've got a deep backfield. You've got Roy Dell, you got Jam, you've got Justice Haynes, even Richard Young. So they have depth there, no doubt about it. Now you have to know what to do. You have to know the protections, everything like that, playing without the football. But I still think Alabama is fortunate. We'll see, how seriously injured Jace is. Saban is supposed to speak today, I believe. They always have a pre-SEC championship
It's
game.
at 4 o'clock today.
Yeah, so he'll probably get asked that, hopefully, by somebody.
I'm right here.
I know, but I'm just saying
I'm right here.
If they take this, is it all Zoom or they're going to be actually reporters?
It's a teleconference.
Okay.
So,
Steve, I'm giving it to you. You always ask me, Jace. They need to be asking about McClellan. I mean, but I thought overall though, Alabama just toughed it out. It wasn't easy. I thought you had a good plan. I'll just say this about Peyton Thorne: he's not a great passer, but he's slithery. People that say he's slow, I don't think they really understand. I think he's faster and quicker than you think.
Yeah.
And he's able, and they blocked pretty well up front at times. So I thought Alabama in the second half made them earn everything except for on the bust. If you don't bust there, you might hold them to a field goal. But I thought Alabama played well.
There's no doubt that was a bust on the touchdown.
Yeah, in the second half. Really, I thought they did. I thought they when they had to, they made the plays. It wasn't a pretty game, but again, unless you understand the Iron Bowl and understand how hard it is, like when people say, "Well, Saban's only 5-4 at Auburn," you know how hard it is to win on the road in the SEC. And look, Auburn almost beat Georgia in Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Sure did.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They played Ole Miss really
Had Brock
tough.
Bowers not been there,
yeah,
it would have been a different story.
And then their game against Ole Miss was a tough game.
Yeah.
They played hard against some good teams. They just don't have enough talent yet. Don't have enough difference makers, as the great Pat Dye would say. So I mean, they're certainly trying to get some. Alabama's still going to be there too. But I just thought what you saw yesterday was the growth of Jalen Milroe, which has been as stark as any I've seen in one season, where a guy is now basically the leader of your team and the de facto alpha dog and just a winner. I mean, he makes winning plays, and I just felt like he did that yesterday.
16 of 24, 259 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Also ran the ball 18 times for 107 yards as well. That is Jalen Milroe. And yeah, his growth is just nothing short of remarkable when you think back to the even the inconsistencies, because we've talked about this on this program multiple times. There would always be that oh-no throw. And really the last, since Mississippi State, the growth has been remarkable.
Well, he took one shot yesterday with Nye Black into double coverage where, Oots was probably open for about 5 yards. That's about all you can say, but you're going to take a shot every now and then. I really never thought he put the ball in danger.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, and so that, I was talking with my father, and he was like, well, if Milroe just doesn't turn it over. I said, he hasn't been turning it over. If you've watched him the last few weeks, he's been protecting the football very, very well.
Yeah.
And so his numbers are really good, especially if you take out the sacks, because as far as rushing yards. But I just really thought his decision-making was crisp. And then you got to understand, when you it takes a lot. You got 2 straight negative plays: the snap and then the elite. When he was trying to, he was just trying to make a play. When he probably should have just taken off, but he tried to go back behind.
Well,
the line
even
of
Coach
scrimmage.
Saban said you could see him going
instead of throwing it and getting the illegal forward pass. But and he did it in the first half that wiped away a touchdown where they had to settle for a field goal. But still, I thought overall his decision-making was good, and I thought he was the difference in the game.
But does this make Jalen Milroe a pocket passer now?
No, it doesn't.
I'm messing with you, Drew.
I mean, he's just
messing with you.
He's a different style of quarterback, but he's a really good player, and it validates the way Coach Saban and the staff handled things early in the season. And I'll give Auburn credit, too. I thought zone read-wise, the few times Jalen tried to keep it, they defended it well.
Yeah.
I thought Ron Roberts was ready. But again, I just thought overall it was a very solid second half for Alabama, and that's the reason they won the game.
256-576-4977 is the telephone number if you'd like to participate. It's the Bama Recap Show presented by Freedom Marine Center. Johnny on a cell has called in this Sunday morning. Good morning, Johnny.
Good morning. So, I would say this. In addition to his improvement as a passer, his pocket awareness is much better as the season's gone on. I mean, yesterday, several times, he moved up into the pocket or moved away from a blitz and managed that part of this game. Every time the kid takes the field and puts the ball in his hand, he's getting better. And you got to say, nobody in America wants us, and I guarantee you Georgia's not licking their chops to have to think what they got to do with Milroe now. Because, I mean, the second week of the season we lose to Texas, but let me play Texas now with this kid and the improvement he's made and the way the line is gelled and they're running, they're actually moving people off the line of scrimmage and things like that. I'm telling you, if Georgia didn't look like world beaters against Tech either. So
no, they
at
didn't.
the end of the day, if Georgia fans think they're going to roll up and just coast to number 30 or whatever their record streak is now.
Well, it's 29 right now.
I think there's some boys in Crimson with some bad intentions for them for what Georgia's going to bring to the table. And I don't think that Georgia does, I don't think their style of offense is the kind of style of offense that gives Bama a lot of trouble defensively. You've got to account for the big tight end, obviously, and their quarterback he may have more arm talent than what the quarterback they've had for the last 3 years. But I don't think the Georgia receivers scare you. I'm pretty sure that this is going to be a good old-fashioned, SEC championship game in which, I'm pretty optimistic that we can punch our ticket to the playoffs with a win over Georgia, and I think we could do it.
Well, there's no doubt about that. If Alabama were to beat Georgia, they are going to the playoffs.
I think it would mean that much, and I'll be frank. I think it's win or get in for both. I don't think Georgia will get in if they lose.
No, I agree. I mean, it's to me is a de facto play-in game, just like Oregon-Washington's a de facto play-in game. And then I personally think you got to look at FSU or Texas as that other person that's going to get in, and I'm not sure that. I mean. Yeah, if Florida State goes 13-0 or 12-0 or whatever,
you can't leave that out.
They can't keep them out.
Yeah. So then you got to jump Texas, who has a W against us, and quite honestly, you got to jump them because you a team that beats the two-time reigning team with a 30-game winning streak, and if you snap it, and you're going to tell them they're not one of the top 4 teams in America, I don't care what happened early in the season.
That's what this committee is charged with, Johnny. They're charged with finding the 4 best teams, the 4 most deserving teams, and I think both Georgia and Alabama would sign up to play Oklahoma State on Saturday.
All I would say for Kirk Herbstreit from what he said in the last few days is he said his eye test tells him that Oregon's better than Alabama. Well, if Alabama beats Georgia, I don't give a damn how bad Oregon beats Washington. Then get some cataract surgery, Kirk, and go cry with Ryan Day with your Buckeyes out of the playoff because you need to, understand what you're watching.
I mean, a Florida State team that is lost their dynamic playmaker. And they beat Florida by running the football. They didn't beat them by throwing.
Oh yeah.
They threw it just enough to give their running offense a chance. And that Florida State team is a shadow of itself without their QB. And you put an undefeated Florida State team in over I think Sarkisian's team would wipe the floor with Florida State. I think it's got to be Texas over Florida State myself.
But unless Florida State loses, they're not going to be out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a fact.
Now, Louisville couldn't beat Kentucky yesterday.
They play in a weak league.
They do,
but a weak league.
It's a weak, but it's not like this is not a group of 5.
Yeah, Louisville lost to Kentucky.
Yeah, so
exactly.
They did.
And they almost lost to Florida, a 5-6 Florida. Which I get it. We almost lost to Auburn, but at the same time, Florida. And that was Florida playing with their second-string quarterback.
Yeah.
At least, I'm not a fan of Florida State right now getting to the 10th if they're undefeated over Texas.
Just root for Louisville, man. You better just hope Louisville plays their best game.
Yeah, well,
it's a lot. That's a big ask right there.
I think Louisville can compete with them, even though they lost to Kentucky because the league is weak.
Louisville got beat on the ground by Kentucky. Florida State's ground game is just as good.
Yeah. Thank you, Johnny.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate the phone call, 256-576-4977.
Like I've said before, some people have asked me about this when they've criticized me and said, well, you said Alabama's in no matter what if they're 12-1 and they beat Georgia. And I amended it. I said what I said was if there's not 4 undefeated teams. And I don't think there will be because we've already seen the Sucks go down. They're done. So cry in your beer. And so they're not going to the playoff. And so I think that there's a good chance Washington loses because Washington looked bad yesterday. They have not played well for a while. And so if they lose, they're out. There's no way. And then again, I think Louisville has a puncher's chance or more against Florida State. I don't think that I know they lost to Kentucky, but again, look, Florida State was down 12-0 to Florida.
Yeah.
So I just
Yeah.
don't. I think it's going to be a good game. I think Louisville will bounce back and have a chance. Not saying they'll win it, but I think they can. And if both of those things happen, then I think Alabama's in if they beat Georgia. Now, I think they should be in anyway as long as either Washington or Florida State loses, because I think Alabama beating Georgia would be the best win of the season by anybody. Okay, I know Georgia's schedule strength isn't what some others are, but they're still the two-time defending champs that's won 29 in a row, man. Okay, that should count for something, and so we'll see. But I'll just say this too: I could even see a scenario if both Washington and Florida State lose, you could make a case for Alabama and Texas to get in the playoff.
Yeah,
if they're both their conference champions, and so I think they both still have a lot to fight for. But if Alabama doesn't beat Georgia, they're not in anyway. They got to win, okay? That's where you can make an argument. If you don't, just like if Alabama had lost yesterday, it's over.
Yeah,
okay?
It's done.
All you're doing is trying to spoil it. And matter of fact, Georgia might have even had a mulligan. They might have still been able to get in even if they lost. But now I think it heightens the entire deal.
The latest updated strength of schedule rankings from Jeff Sarragan's rankings has Michigan's strength of schedule at 63.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State's is now at 47. Alabama's is at 13. And Georgia is at 58. So, I mean, just kind of is what it is. But we'll get ready for a fantastic SEC championship game.
And if I know we have Husky Dan that listens to our shows. Look, if the Huskies beat Oregon, they're in, bro.
Yeah,
I got no problem with
undefeated.
It. They're undefeated.
If you go undefeated,
if you're undefeated, even if it's been ugly for the last month, you're in. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like I told a Florida State fan over Thanksgiving. He was worried that they get left out, like Johnny on a cell was saying. Even if they were undefeated, I said no, you won't.
No.
If
you're
control
undefeated,
what you can control.
If you're a Power 5,
if you're 13-0, you're going to be in.
Yeah.
And that's what the committee's praying for. They want Georgia to win. They want Washington to win. Florida State. They want 4 undefeated teams.
They
man.
sure do.
They want 4 undefeated teams to where it's easy for them to do. And again, Georgia,
because this is the last year of this type of pressure on the committee.
Right. Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying. They're gonna be hoping and praying that Georgia, Florida State, Michigan, and Washington are undefeated, because then you have an easy, Final Four. And I'll be honest, if that happens, Texas and Alabama, they don't have an argument to me.
Yeah.
I just if you're undefeated, but it would surprise me if there's 4 undefeated teams.
It would.
Maybe I will say this though: if this was the first year of the expanded playoff, all these teams would be in. So you better look out.
Yeah.
And Liberty would probably be a wild card, and then it would be Georgia 65, Wofford/Liberty 3. But I mean, it is what it is.
Let's go ahead and take our first time out. We'll hear from Coach Saban, and he did kind of reference something about winning the way they won. We'll hear from Coach Saban post-game coming up next. It is the Bama Recap Show presented by Freedom Marine Center.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
Alabama-Auburn. This is the 88th Iron Bowl.
Here now the give, back up the middle. Roydell runs up the pipe, and he is in for a touchdown. Here's Milrow, looks long, trying to find a man. Behind the defense, it's caught, and here goes Jermaine Burton all the way. Touchdown, Alabama. Fair catch being made, and it's loose. It's picked up by Alabama. It's down the near side, and they call the play dead. He throws into the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown, Alabama. The Crimson Tide throwing a Hail Mary into the corner of the end zone. Alabama defeats Auburn. Just remarkable.
Coming up next, the SEC Championship game, live from Atlanta, Georgia, on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. Roll Tide.
There's nothing like the freedom you feel when you're on the water in your own boat from Freedom Marine in Guntersville. And when it's time to get your boat ready for cold weather, Freedom Marine is your best choice to winterize your boat so it's ready to go next spring. If you've been thinking about a new boat, Freedom Marine has a great selection on sale now with some of the biggest discounts they've had in a decade. For new and used boats, outboard sales, financing, service and parts, it's Freedom Marine. Highway 431 in Guntersville and online at freedommarincenter.com.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Injuries at work happen all the time in Alabama. So do motor vehicle and slip and fall accidents. If you're hurt at work or injured in an accident, I want you to call my good friends at Pond Lehocky Giordano. That's Pond Lehocky, Alabama's injury law firm. They got your back just like they've got mine. For personalized legal support, reach out to Pond Lehocky at 855-774-3838 or pondlehocky.com.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
There's nothing like the freedom you feel when you're on the water in your own boat from Freedom Marine in Guntersville. And when it's time to get your boat ready for cold weather, Freedom Marine is your best choice to winterize your boat so it's ready to go next spring. If you've been thinking about a new boat, Freedom Marine has a great selection on sale now with some of the biggest discounts they've had in a decade. For new and used boats, outboard sales, financing, service and parts, it's Freedom Marine. Highway 431 in Guntersville and online at freedommarincenter.com.
Milrose stands in, lets everybody get downfield, still standing. He throws into the end zone. It's caught! It's caught by Isaiah Bond. Caught by Isaiah Bond in the corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Alabama! The Crimson Tide with 32 seconds to go in the ballgame. Throwing a Hail Mary into the corner of the end zone, and Isaiah Bond, who has already caught 5 catches today, adds number 6 as he gets to the corner ahead of DJ James, the field cornerback, and the Tide has taken the lead with 32 seconds to go.
That's how it sounded again from Learfield. That was the 50th win in the series for the Alabama Crimson Tide in this Iron Bowl. And as Drew mentioned, Drew DeArmond, Steve Moulton here with you on a Sunday morning rather. Here, all these days are meshing together.
Yeah,
it's nonetheless a very memorable Iron Bowl, the 88th edition of the Iron Bowl. 256-576-4977, the telephone number. Time to hear from Coach Saban. Here is Coach Saban postgame here talking with the media.
And try to convince our players of that. But, I was really pleased with the way we started the game. And when we started the game, we had some great drives. We had, 2 touchdowns called back because of penalties. And we allowed them, by our inability to stop the run on defense, to get back in the game early on when we should have had, the game, well in hand. So, part of the strategy going into this game was we wanted to get ahead so that they couldn't just run the ball and get them in some loose play situations. And, maybe we could rush and do some things that would affect the quarterback, and it would be a little bit more of a game in our favor. So it's kind of a reality check, though. I think that's what I told the team afterwards. Sometimes it cannot be a great thing when you don't play really good and win, even though it's great to win. But everybody needs to have a reality check and build on the good things that we did, and there were a lot of good things in this game. But also we got to fix the things we need to fix because we're going to play a really good team next week in the SEC championship game. So I'm happy for our players. I'm happy for our fans. And this was a great win for our team. So I'm proud of this team to come from where they were early in the season to win 11 games, to win the West, the SEC West, and have an opportunity to play, in the SEC championship game, which I think is one of the greatest venues in college football.
Open to questions. Raise your hand for me. Nick Kelly. Yeah, John Campbell was able to get that fun off. I mean, his hustle there, what do you see and what kind of happened there from your perspective?
Well, it was a good punt. It had good hang time. 30, Jihad did a great job of covering. He was right in front of the guy. The guy misjudged the ball a little bit, was a little off balance, and, Jihad was right there to take advantage of the fumble, the muff kick. So, but James hit a couple really good punts that changed field position, later in the game, which I think was really significant. And that play was no doubt very significant.
Yes, Spiegel.
You talked before about how this offense has developed, how Jalen has developed. I mean, to make a throw and then that catch in that situation, I mean, just how far has this team come in that goal?
Well, they've come a long ways, but believe it or not, we actually practice that play every Friday when we do walkthrough and we do special situations. We get in that formation. Everybody runs down the field and runs varying routes in the end zone. And, Jalen made a great throw, but, IB really kind of got himself in position where there was some room to throw it. He pushed inside, and the DB was inside of him, and then he came back out, and Jalen threw it back out to him, and it was a great catch, a great throw. But that is a play that we actually work on. And I must admit that I think you have to be a little lucky for it to work, but I'll take it.
That is Coach Nick Saban postgame after the 88th Iron Bowl. 256-576-4977, the telephone number, as Alabama survives a scare down on the plains. And as much as Coach Saban doesn't want to talk about weird things happening, yes, the better team did win yesterday. There's no doubt the better team won yesterday, but just odd things happen down there on the plains.
It's so funny, too, because it was the 10th anniversary of the kick six. Alabama converts a 4th and 31, but I'm going to tell you another game it reminded me of, and this was a game also played on the plains. It was the muff punt reminded me of Ed Sissom's fumble
Going old school on me.
Late in the 97 game,
Yeah.
where Alabama looked like they had that game won. It was an Auburn team that went to the SEC championship game,
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah.
Alabama was not very good. They went 4-7 that year, and they had Auburn beat. I mean, Damian Craig wasn't even watching. He was so distraught. And then Ed Sissom fumbled. And it basically got Bruce Arians fired, even though I thought it was really Dubos's fault. It wasn't, they should have kept running the ball with Sean Alexander. I mean, the play call was really not a bad idea. It was trying to catch Auburn off guard, and Ed just fumbled the football. But I just felt like overall it was kind of a combination of those games, some of the crazy stuff that happens. But Alabama made one more play than Auburn did, and I still don't know. Of course, this is once again Jason Autry and his crew. I'm watching the end of it where Braswell and Turner cause a fumble into the end zone. How that wasn't a safety? I thought the offensive lineman went down in the end zone, and somehow Mo, Larry, and Curley marked it at the 1. And then I will say, people have asked me about the pick by Terrion.
I thought he went out of bounds.
He stepped out. There was a guy that even sent me a picture. He stepped out about the 3-yard line. They knocked him out of bounds. So that's why they didn't count that. But again, great win for Alabama, no matter what it looks like. And now you just have to prepare. For a very good Georgia team, it's the biggest challenge of the season. The Dogs have been very, very good. And you look at it, too, you have to see the one injury that looks like it came out of the situation is Jace McClellan. It looked like to me it happened on the last drive when he got pulled back when they tackled him. It's probably a high ankle sprain, but we'll see. But luckily, Alabama has plenty of depth at running back, should be able to step up. But again, as I said earlier in the show, I think that's the one injury of significance.
What did you make of Coach Saban's thoughts of winning that way, that you don't play your best, yet you still win, can be dangerous?
It can be. I mean, he talked about it because the LSU team back in 2002, after they won on the the miracle, the
Bluegrass,
the Bluegrass miracle. That was a Hail Mary beating Kentucky.
That was a miracle.
They ended up losing to Alabama. They didn't finish strong. I think an injury at the quarterback spot played a lot to do with
that was
it.
Matt Mock, I think.
Yeah. But I will say this. Alabama did the same thing 2 years ago. Did not play well at all. Was very lucky to escape Auburn, and then played their best game against Georgia. I think what he wants his team to understand is it's going to take a much better effort from start to finish. Now, there was moments of strong play in this game at Auburn, but when you're playing Georgia and you're playing a team that expects to win like they do, and you're playing a team that's won 29 in a row, look, man, their last loss was to you. They're going to remember that too. They also know they beat you the last time in that fourth quarter, so you have to go out and earn it. It's going to take your best performance of the year to have a chance to beat a team of that caliber. And if you win that game, to me, you'll be in the playoff, unless the committee is a bunch of dumbasses who doesn't know a football if they saw one.
I thought it was a fantastic call from Brad Nessler. It's Bond. Isaiah Bond.
Yeah.
Here is post-game from 007.
How did the practice prepare you for that moment?
Honestly, just taking it seriously in the game. That route wasn't supposed to go to me, but me just believing in myself, me believing in my quarterback still found me in a big-time situation game, and I made the play.
How much patience you have to kind of be on all the time? There's about 5 seconds when you're running around there. I mean, what was going through your mind during that whole time? Big time players make big time plays, honestly. One quote my mom instilled in me as a young child. So going out there in a big time moment, it just felt regular, honestly. So going out there and making a play, just another day, another job.
Do you have any way of describing?
Not yet.
Do you have any way of describing what you thought as the ball was in the air coming your way?
It's mine. That's what I thought. When the ball came in the air, I was like, it's 50-50. It's a 50% chance I got it, so I went over there and got the ball.
Could you feel like you had good position on your good position?
Yes, sir. Kind of set him up. The ball, I seen the ball. He was trailing, so leaning into him and it faded late. Just basically made that play right there, as y'all seen.
You practiced that, but did you actually complete that in practice?
Actually, that was the first time we've ever thrown that route in practice, game, anything. So I was astonished too, but no, I wasn't honestly astonished making the catch. I knew I'm a great player, great receiver. I knew I could make big time plays, so making that play it wasn't a shock to me.
You guys have a name for it?
The play?
Yeah.
Gravedigger. Grave digger.
What's the last thing Jalen said to you guys in the huddle before we broke down?
We need to make a play. Honestly, that's all you can say. In a situation like that, you're down 4, you got no field goal, you got to score. So going out there and scoring a touchdown was the only option.
How were you able to gather yourself after the bad snap as an offense? What did you guys say in the huddle to kind of get things back together?
We done been in these situations before. We done been down before. So just getting a team together and just let them know we still got a drive left. We still got a play left. Go out there and make the best opportunity. So we did that like you see in the last play.
Isaiah, this season will have for you guys. You guys just never given up. You guys have gotten better each and every week. How was this game a good representation of that?
It's a good representation of our team just never giving up. We never gonna give up. We're gonna finish the game all the way to the game's over with. And that's what we basically played and we showed y'all this weekend.
Isaiah, when you made that catch, I mean, what was the feeling like when you guys connected on that?
It was a great feeling. I ain't gonna lie, especially an in-town rivalry, Auburn, Alabama game. So this is gonna go down in history. So just making that play meant a lot to the Bama family, so Alabama history. So it was a great play.
Were you certain you had 2 feet down right away?
Oh yeah, I knew I had a foot down most definitely because I was probably at least 2 yards away from out of bounds. As a receiver, you practice feeling that sideline. So I definitely felt the sideline there, but I knew it was a touchdown.
What's your thought when it's going through the air? Do you know it's a catchable ball right away? Or?
Yeah. I knew as soon as he threw it, it was a catchable ball. I just knew I had to been there in the best opportunity, the best place to go make the play.
Did they give you the ball, or do you know where that is?
You said what?
Did they give you the ball?
Nah, they didn't give me the ball. I have no idea where the ball is at. I don't even know what I did with the ball after I made that catch. I can't even lie. I think I threw it down. I think the ref might got it. If I get it, I get it. It is what it is.
What's the first thing that goes through your mind when you come down with it, you're on the ground, you're celebrating? What's the first thing that pops in your mind?
Honestly, just another play. I done made plenty of big plays like that in my life before, game winners. So this is another play, another dollar. Honestly.
How long did you think it was going to take the ball to get there? He had all the time.
Yeah, honestly, I just knew if I was able to hold my line, I was going to be able to make that play, honestly.
How were y'all at halftime, final minutes? If y'all want to make the playoffs, if y'all want to compete for a national championship, you had to win. I mean, how much
literally.
was talked about at halftime? Or?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't really talked about at halftime. It's kind of already known. You kind of just know that. So be going out there just knowing literally the season's on the line. So that's what I displayed in that catch right there, just making a big time play.
This has sort of been
going there and being aggressive.
It's sort of been Jalen the last half of the season. He's made play after play after play. How much have you guys as a team rallied around the way he's improved and gained confidence?
Yes, sir. Jalen, he has been improving tremendously each week throughout the week, gaining trust of the team, gaining trust of the players. I have great trust and respect for Jalen Monroe, how far he's come. So he's gonna be that head guy. You can look out for him too, as well.
I said, what that sweet emotions like when you guys came converted on Ninja High versus that fumble you guys get back? Take me through that like 10 seconds.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, it was hard, but being at a big program like this, we done been in big games, like I said before. It's not a situation we haven't been in before, so obviously it was hard, but like I said earlier, you gotta go out there and make a play, so you can't really be too frustrated. You kind of gotta go out there with a clear mindset at the same time.
What was the reaction on the sideline after the review with Jermaine's catch on the sideline? It didn't matter in the end.
Yeah. I was a little in disbelief, but honestly, I mean, we wasn't really getting that many calls anyways throughout the game. So, I mean, you guys know you got to go out there, you got to play between the lines, you got to just do everything to make sure they can't really take nothing away from you, in a sense.
What was Coach's message in the locker room, you guys, Isaiah, Coach Saban? You guys got on in the locker room?
Coach Saban, like I said, we done been in this situation before, so it was nothing new. We just got to find a way to get out of it again.
You talked about this being a reality check, Nick Saban did. What does that mean to you as players in terms of balancing the emotions for us?
Reality check, I think he means by literally just going out there and playing, because obviously, let alone the records, it's a rivalry game. Everybody will go out there and play their hardest, 110%. So us is coming with that mindset, just know we're going to have to play, know we have to finish our game. That's what he meant by that.
That is Isaiah Bond post-game last
Good stuff,
night.
I thought.
Yeah, no, it really is. And interesting, the mindset of even the players kind of knowing, hey, not all the calls are going our way. It kind of changing that mindset a little bit. Now, let's give credit to Auburn here, because this is year one for Hugh Freeze. And if you were to go back and watch that New Mexico State game, it does look to me as if there were different players in Auburn uniforms, because the effort was monumentally better. And that program, it's hard not to think that the Auburn football program is in very capable hands moving forward with Coach Freeze, and that it'll be fascinating to watch the development and growth of this recruiting class in particular, Drew.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Auburn's going to sign some good players. They've already got some good players committed. They've already flipped some really good players in the last few weeks. Certainly they're going to be good, no doubt. Coach Freeze is a proven guy. I thought he had his team ready. I think Alabama is going to continue to be strong. Their recruiting is going well. Quite frankly, I think Alabama needs to tweak their coaching staff a little bit still defensively. You have Freddie Roach, Coleman Hutzler. I still think they need to hit the bricks. But we'll see. And I think Auburn, they might even tweak theirs a little bit. It's going to be very interesting to see if Philip Montgomery's back, because I think the dynamic on offense has been kind of hit or miss, and Coach Freeze wants to have a heavy hand in it. So I'm going to be very interested to see kind of how that works out. But I do think Auburn's on the right track, no doubt about it. They played really well. They need to use this bowl game as a springboard to get some guys better and get them some reps and decide who's going to be back next year. And then the quarterback situation will be interesting. Do they go into the portal for another QB, or does Coach Freeze, think with a year under his belt that Peyton Thorne can be the guy? Or does he give Holden Garner more of a shot? I will just say this. Robbie Ashford is not going to be the guy.
Yeah.
He cannot throw the football consistently enough. He's a change of pace, but you've got to find somebody that can more consistently, execute the passing game, because Auburn was too one-dimensional, and that's why they lost the game.
Let's go ahead and take our final timeout. We'll hear from Kirby Smart post-game as his Dogs get ready for the Georgia Bulldog, or the Alabama Crimson Tide taking on the Crimson Tide at Georgia Bama. That's all that needs to be said. I'll get it out. Freedom Marine Center. Online at freedommarincenter.com.
Alabama Auburn. This is the 88th Iron Bowl.
Here now the give. Back up the middle. Roydell runs up the pipe, and he is in for a touchdown. Here's Milrow. Looks long, trying to find a man. Behind the defense. It's caught, and here goes Jermaine Burton all the way. Touchdown, Alabama. Fair catch being made, and it's loose. It's picked up by Alabama. It's down the near side, and they call the play dead. He throws into the end zone. He caught it. It's caught. Touchdown, Alabama. The Crimson Tide throwing a Hail Mary into the corner of the end zone. Alabama defeats Auburn. Just remarkable.
Coming up next, the SEC Championship game, live from Atlanta, Georgia, on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. Roll Tide. There's nothing like the freedom you feel when you're on the water in your own boat from Freedom Marine in Guntersville. And when it's time to get your boat ready for cold weather, Freedom Marine is your best choice to winterize your boat so it's ready to go next spring. If you've been thinking about a new boat, Freedom Marine has a great selection on sale now with some of the biggest discounts they've had in a decade. For new and used boats, outboard sales, financing, service and parts, it's Freedom Marine. Highway 431 in Guntersville and online at freedommarincenter.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Hi folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford's Thanksgiving sales event. This is the time of year to give thanks for all the good things in our lives. And at Woody Anderson Ford, we give thanks that you're driving a Ford. Right now, we've got financing as low as 2.9% for up to 60 months on 2023 Explorer and Bronco Sport, plus $1,500 in bonus cash. Even our 2023 F-150 Crew Cab has $1,500 bonus cash and financing as low as 3.9%. And our lease rates are great too. 2023 Bronco Sport, $389 a month. 23 Explorer, $537 a month. And our 23 F-150 Crew Cab, just $449 a month, plus $3,000 in total trade assistance and red carpet lease cash. These are 36-month leases with $36.95 on Bronco Sport, $49.21 on Explorer, and $51.51 on F-150 due at signing. Zero security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. These offers end November 30th. Call 539-9441 for complete details. It's Woody Anderson Ford's Thanksgiving sales event, and we hope to see you soon.
There's nothing like the freedom you feel when you're on the water in your own boat from Freedom Marine in Guntersville. And when it's time to get your boat ready for cold weather, Freedom Marine is your best choice to winterize your boat so it's ready to go next spring. If you've been thinking about a new boat, Freedom Marine has a great selection on sale now with some of the biggest discounts they've had in a decade. For new and used boats, outboard sales, financing, service and parts, it's Freedom Marine. Highway 431 in Guntersville and online at freedommarincenter.com.
Everything you need is just a click away.
I should come up sometime, see me.
Okay, almost everything.
Come up, I'll tell you a fortune.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. 977ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back to the Bama Recap Show, presented by Freedom Marine Center. The win yesterday for Alabama was their 198th win since 2008. That is the most in college football. Second on that list is Ohio State. They did not win. They have 178 wins during that same time span. Georgia was a winner yesterday. They now have 177 wins during that same time span. Again, Bama with 198 wins since 2008. And for the Crimson Tide, it is their 15th trip to Atlanta for the SEC championship game. I guess also included in that overall record would be a couple of trips to Birmingham. But nonetheless, overall, the Tide are 10-4 in SEC championship games, 8-1 under head coach Nick Saban, with the lone loss to the Florida Gators. But it is now time to turn our attention to the Georgia Bulldogs, as the Dogs were winners yesterday in some clean, old-fashioned hate. But now, let's dive into it. It's about you and Nick, right?
It's not about me and him, or at least it's not for me. It's about these kids. I want those kids to walk out of that room with a 0 in their loss column, and that's what I want. And there's a group of seniors in there that just got a chance to do that, and that's what it's about, is dominating your rivalries. We say SEC East, crossover opponent, and in-state rivalry. You got to win those to have good years, and those kids have done that for 3 years now.
That is Kirby Smart post-game after downing the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets yesterday. But keep in mind, I know Johnny called in earlier, Georgia played without Brock Bowers yesterday and without Ladd McConkey.
They held them out, man.
Yeah.
Look, whatever. They won the game. I don't take much out of that. I mean, I think that's, again, I had already heard they were holding guys out, including McConkey and Brock. So they won the game. Who cares?
What do you think of the matchup?
I mean, it's a heavyweight matchup, man. I mean, I like Alabama's chances. I think they can win the game.
I do too.
I think, but I have a lot of respect for Georgia. I don't think they're as physical as they have been. I think they're more of a passing team. But, I mean, Beck has done a great job, processes really well. Brock's a freak. They've got an underrated receiving core.
Thought Kendall Milton played his best game yesterday.
Yeah, he's finally healthy, so Milton gives them more of a running threat. They have balance, and I'm not saying they can't run the football. I'm just saying they're a different style than they were 3, 4, 5 years ago. I think they're a little bit more spread conceptually. They're good on defense. I don't know that they're as dominant as they were 2 to 3 years ago, but they're still really, really good.
Yeah.
I think Alabama still has the edge on defense. I think they probably got a better pass rush.
Certainly the secondary is far superior.
I think the secondary is better, but, I mean, I'm worried about Jalen Key. He wasn't 100%, and I think he's kind of been the weak link back there. It'll be interesting to see how much Story plays or how Alabama tweaks some things. I think it's going to be a 4-quarter fight, man. I think it's the two best teams in college football, quite frankly. I don't really give a piss about what I saw in the Ohio State-Michigan game. I think they'd wipe the floor with both of them. They'd wipe the floor with Florida State. They'd wipe the floor with Washington. I think these are the two best teams that are going to strap it up in Atlanta next week, and we'll see the winner goes to the playoff and the loser goes to a Big Six bowl.
That'll wrap us up here. We will be back next Sunday morning for another edition of the Bama Recap Show, presented by Freedom Marine Center, located online at freedommarincenter.com.
Final thing to say.
Yeah.
I thought Isaiah Bond did a great Jackson Reese impersonation yesterday. To plug one of our other great
Madison Academy coming up on Friday
97.7 The Zone
at
family.
Geraldine. Yeah,
we are the home of the Tide and we're the home of the Mustangs.
Yeah, well, that game will be on the air all 4 quarters.
Oh yes.
Let's not talk about Bama basketball, shall we? We'll save that.
They got a split.
I realize that, but ouch against Ohio State,
who beat Santa Clara by 30 yesterday.
Roll Tide, everybody. We'll talk to you next Sunday.
It's time for kickoff on the Atlanta Falcons Radio Network, brought to you by Norfolk Southern.